In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the basic functions of Adobe InDesign. In this video, we're going to set up a very simple A5 document booklet. And in that booklet, I'm going to show you how you can add pictures, photographs, text, and blocks of color. Okay, so first up, when you first open InDesign, this is what it will look like. So we're going to click on Create New. Okay, and we're going to go straight to Print. Okay, now if it looks a bit like this, then you just click on View All Presets, and then it gives us the options we want. All right, and we're actually going to choose A5. So I'm just going to click on that. And I'll explain my reasoning behind this. Is that we're going to try and create the simplest form of booklet, of document, and that's going to be in the form of a greetings card, and it's going to be A5 because A5 is half the size of A4. All right. So I'm going to click on A5. Okay, but we're not just going to go ahead and click create. There's a couple of things we can do that are going to help us in our design process. First up, if you scroll down the preset details down the side here, where it says margins, I think when you first see it, it will look a bit like this. It will all be closed up. All right, so click on margins, and then just increase your margins to 20 centimeters all around. All right. That's the first thing that we can do. This will just ensure that our text is well away from the edges of the document. The next thing we're going to set up is the bleed. Okay, and I'm going to add 3 millimeters of bleed all the way around our document. Okay, now this is because now modern printing processes are very, very accurate. However, printing processes deal with a relatively organic substance that's called paper. All right, and paper expands and contracts. So there's always going to be a little bit of discrepancy in your printing. Now, to overcome these discrepancies, we just make sure that everything is slightly oversized, so that at the end of the process, if there is any deviantness, if it's not printed very accurately, you have a chance to trim the page back down to get rid of any of that overprint or underprint. Now it does mean that our card is actually going to be a little bit smaller than A5, but that's not a problem. Okay. Okay, so once we've done that, we're going to click Create. Okay, so there's a couple of initial things that we'll show you. Okay, so the first up is our tools on the left hand side. Now we're only going to use 3 tools today. That is our selection tool, okay, our rectangle frame tool, and our text tool. All right, so they're the only 3 tools we need to worry about today. Now over on the other side is our pages icon. So at the moment we've just set up a single page, and that is actually our front cover. However, we've got to create 3 more pages. Okay, now when we're creating a booklet, one absolute fundamental thing that you must remember is that the page numbers, including the front and back page, it absolutely must be divisible by 4. Okay, and it's physics, isn't it? Okay, so we've got our front cover, which is page 1, then page 2, and page 3, and finally the back cover, page 4. Okay, we can't have 3 pages because what happens to page 3 when we take away page 4? All right, so it absolutely has to be divisible by 4. Okay, so I'm going to click on the pages icon over here, and this actually shows how our pages are laid out. Okay, Now, I'm not just happy with a single page. We need to add 3 more. So I'm going to click on the new page icon, and you go 1, 2, 3. Now it positions our front cover top right and our back cover top left. Okay, and the inside pages, that's our facing pages. In this case, it will be our center spread. That's where our main content will be. That's where the message in the greetings card will go. And we navigate between these pages just by double clicking on the icon here. Okay, it says our facing page, our center spread, and we're going to start with the cover. So I'll double click. Let's bring our cover up. Oops, there we go. Okay, now the first tool we're going to use, the first action we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to add a picture to the front of our card. And to do that, we actually use the rectangle frame tool. All right, so I'm going to click on that. I'm going to draw a box for our picture. Okay, now to place a picture within that box, we need to go to the File and Place tool. All right, or it's Command D on your keyboard. Click on that, and I've got some pictures ready prepared. All right, so I'm going to choose this one initially because it just needs to, because it's a good way of explaining what happens with your images in InDesign. We're going to click on that, and it opens it. Now it opens a preview of our image. It doesn't open the image itself, it just opens a preview, so don't be surprised if your image looks a bit more pixelated. All right, it's not important at this stage, it's only important at the printing stage, that it knows that your image is in the file where you originally got it from. All right, all we're doing is linking to a file in your image in a folder on your computer. Gosh. Okay, now your picture box. Okay, now using our selection tool, we can click and we can move this box around. All right, and we can resize the box like so, and you'll notice, unlike Photoshop, when you resize the box, look, the image stays the same. All right, and this is important. So this box is a container. All right, all it's doing is containing your image. Now, if we want to see the image, if we want to edit the image size, and can you see when we hover over this box, a little circle appears. We click on that. There you go. Can you now see this red box around the outside? That now controls the image. And can you see how we can move the image around inside the container? Okay, if we want to downsize that, then just like Photoshop, we need to hold down Shift to stop it distorting, and then we just hold Shift and move a corner to shrink our image, to bring it down to size. All right. Now there is quicker ways of doing this. What we can do is use our object menu, and from that we can choose fitting. Now if we choose the fill frame proportionally, it will attempt to fill the frame to the longest edge, all right, compared to the format of your image, but it will crop out any other areas. So we can see if we extend the bottom here, look, we've actually cropped off a bit off the bottom and the top to get it to fill the frame. But it's quite a nice quick way of working. So if you wanted to say use this image and fill that whole center panel within our card, then we'll go to object, fitting, fill frame proportionally. All right, but you can see it's cropped it very tightly top and bottom, but the sides, look, can you see we've got all of our image in there. All right. Now if you didn't want to crop the image, then what you would do is you go to object, fitting, but this time you would fit content proportionally. So click on that, you'll see how it now shrinks it to fit within your frame, and then you would have to bring your frame down in size to meet it. Okay, now this picture isn't ideally suited to this card because it's a landscape picture. However, I've got a portrait picture as well, so I'm just going to delete this. We're going to add a new frame, and I want this picture to be full bleed. Okay, and when we mean full bleed, we mean edge to edge. All right, and this is when I actually use the bleed to create our box. All right, so can you see the box has gone all the way out to the bleed? That red line was actually the bleed. I don't think I pointed that out, did I? Okay, well I didn't. Okay, then we're going to go Command D to place. Okay, and look, I've already got my picture set up. I'm going to click open, and I'm going to go to object, and I'm going to go to fitting fill frame proportionally. Now if I actually chose the other one, you might see that it doesn't fit this format particularly well. So if we fit content proportionally, you can see it's given us two gaps, top and bottom, which isn't ideal for us. We want it to be full bleed. So object, fitting, fill frame proportionally. All right, and that's our photograph on our front cover. Okay, now you can see at the moment, look, we've got our bleed lines, our cover lines, and we've got our margin lines in there. Now you might want to actually preview this image without all of these lines. And we can do that quite easily by going up here. So this little icon up here, it says screen mode. We click on here and choose preview. All right, and that shows you the whole thing without the crop marks. Without the bleed marks and without the margin lines. All right, so you can see if everything's working okay. So I'm just going to go back to normal, and we're going to add some content into the middle pages. So this time I'm going to double click. Okay, and we're going to add some text to the right hand side of this page, of course, because we have our front cover, and when we open our card, we want our greeting message to be on the right hand side. All right, now I'm going to choose the type tool this time. Now rather than just clicking in the page, I'm actually going to draw a type box. So we click and drag a box, another container, but this time it's for type. And I'm going to go happy occasion. Okay, and you'll see, look, we can swipe through it. Look, we've got all our usual text editing functions at the top here. So I'm going to centralize it. I'm going to choose better typeface. There you go, Gil Sans. That's going to have to be about 36, and we're going to make it nice and bold. All right. Once I've done that, I'm just going to go back to this tool, and I can just shorten my box, get it centered, just slightly above center. All right. Now that's a black color, isn't it? So the text is a black color, and I want a slightly happier color than that, I think. So I'm going to go. I'm going to change the color of the typeface. So I'm going to click on our type tool. I'm going to double click. Well, I'm going to select our type, and our colors are up here. All right. Now I'm going to click here. Okay. Now you'll notice that you only have a small selection of colors in the first instance. All right. Now you can select a wider gamut of colors if you wanted to, but I'm just going to stick with these because it's an introduction. All right. So, but for this, I'm just going to choose cyan. All right, because it's similar to the color on the front cover, isn't it? I'm going to click that, and that will change our typeface to cyan. All right. And there we have our coloured typeface. Now it is possible to, once we've selected our frame, to copy it. So I'm going to copy it, and I'm actually going to paste this onto the front cover. Paste it. There we go. Let's bring it into a better position. All right, but you can see how the blue is a little bit lost against that. So I'm just going to double click in the box, and that will select the type for me. All right, and I'm going to choose a white or paper because there's no ink, white paper, to change our text to white. And I'm going to bring this down a little bit. Now, another way of resizing things is to actually decrease the size of everything. And can you see up here, we've got this percentage boxes. If we just click on little up and down arrows here, we can fine tune the size of things. All right, so look, I can do that. Bring it down in size, and look, I can bring our happy occasion to here. There you go, and I've got it nicely lined up against the top of that tree. And look, we can click on preview just to see what it looks like. All right. Now inside again, it might be that we want a really nice bright colour, and perhaps we actually want maybe cyan to go across the whole of the page. We want a nice big block of colour. Okay, first I'm just going to change this back to black type so we can see what's happening. Okay, now to add a block of colour to that page, and it's going to be a full bleed block of colour, I'm going to click on our rectangle frame tool again. Okay, and I'm going to go right out to the red line of the bleed, and I'm going to drag this across the whole page like so. Okay, this time I'm just going to go up to the same place as we did for the type before. I'm going to click on here and I'm going to choose cyan, and it'll change that whole block to cyan. Okay, however, you'll notice that that's added this colour across the whole of the type. So we've lost our happy occasion. It's put this over the top of it. All right, it's still there, look. Okay, so all we need to do is swap these objects round. All right, so up here I'm going to go to Object, Arrange, Send to Back. All right, and it will send this big block of colour to the back and bring our happy occasion to the front. Okay, and I'm going to change the happy occasion type to white again because it works quite well, doesn't it? There we go. And let's hit our preview, and there we have it. That's our finished card. So there's our front cover, happy occasion, and we have our inside cover again with happy occasion. All right, for our message. Now when we come to print it, that's a different video. All right, but when we print it, we have to take into consideration the bleed, and we have to add crop marks that will actually tell us where to trim our card. So we end up with these really nice edge-to-edge blocks of type, of colour, and of photographs, of course. That's it. Thank you very much.